And we're back. Hello, everyone. Last time we talked about Pixar perspective, but this time we're talking about something completely different.
Oh boy.
We're talking about animated films.
Yeah.
But
So, starting off, we all just watched the film Toy Story.
yes, and oh my god,
that's right.
It's better than any other Pixar film.
I'm so glad to see the gang back together. I can't wait for Toy Story 4 for that to come out.
An anime. Oh wait! Surprise, surprise!
Oh wait.
We're doing anime.
Anime!
What? In this podcast with the working title Cinema-san?
Cinema-san!
Sings You've Got a Friend in Me in Japanese.
I can't do that. Either way, hi everybody.
I feel like Kirby can, and she's trying to brag.
Because KirbyFan, you're previously, Wash was the main one in charge of Pixar perspective. KirbyFan, this is your show now. This is you're the one who's really bringing everybody together.
Yes. Before we get into any of that,
we should introduce ourselves.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm RandomBystanderHere.
I'm the Wash-sama.
Oh,
And
I'm Random Bystander Kun then.
I'm KirbyFan.
I'm Random Bystander. San or
Watashi wa KirbyFan.
Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. That's all I know.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't.
Como esta?
Oh my god, at least I said Japanese. Okay, so let me explain this for those of you who don't know. The biggest, and I mean this with the utmost respect. The biggest weeb out of all of us is KirbyFan when it comes to watching
between
anime.
the three of us, by far.
Yes. Both me and Wash don't really watch anime that much. Actually, I don't know about you. I don't watch anime that much. Before watching this film, the most anime I've watched was Hamtaro and Dragon Ball Z. And if you count it, Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I don't really count that.
For me, I probably would count Avatar: The Last Airbender just because I have so little other exposure. Okay. I feel like part of why the thing is, this is a very appropriate start of this film that we chose for the first anime film to discuss is very appropriate because a big part of why I have trouble with anime is because I am hearing impaired, and anime dubs don't do it for me. Like, I need those lips to sync, baby.
I will never understand why dubs don't have subtitles. Whenever you see subtitles, it's for the Japanese version. The dub itself very rarely ever has subtitles. And I hate that. I really hate that.
Yeah, it's really crappy. And I have a vivid memory of, I think I was at my dad's client's, I think I was at my dad's friend's house, something like that, and I was sitting in a couch with the friend's son, and we were watching Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z, one of those two. I can't remember if Goku was young or old in that one.
He might have been both.
And all I remember was
Goku.
What?
Goku.
It's Goku.
Goku.
It's
Goku. And Piccolo.
Oh yes, Piccolo. Don't forget Gohan. And Gotex, apparently.
And Van Gogh.
And I remember a lot of things happening on screen, and I didn't understand what was happening because I couldn't understand what anybody was saying. So it wouldn't be a surprise that I would instead gravitate towards SpongeBob and Ed, Edd n Eddy and similar shows like American animated shows where the lips have to sync because it's animated. I'm just trying to think. Cause I have been exposed to a couple anime films before.
Pokemon, the first movie.
I forgot about that, but that does count as one of them.
It does, because I just remember that now.
I do remember there were two Miyazaki films that I've seen. And there was a Satoshi Kon Paprika. That one I also saw, and Paprika is fantastic, obviously.
Never seen that personally, but I will listen to you and say it's good. I just realized I have seen maybe a bit more. Yeah, I did see Pokemon the first movie, Pokemon 2000. There was one Pokemon film that took place in Venice that I watched with my girlfriend at the time. Because she was like, you need to watch...
Yeah,
I'm tired of you not being interested in watching non-animated movies. Let's watch an animated movie together. And we watched that, and it got to the point where she was mad I was too interested in the movie because it was animated. And I basically... and after that, I also... You know how I mentioned Stars films? Where I just watch a film because it just was on Stars.
Well, this is a Pixar Spective reference, but yes, I do remember you talking about Stars.
Pixar Spective never dies.
It never dies. Ponyo was often played on Stars for some reason or another, and I would catch Ponyo not all at once, and I was confused by it because I would catch it probably in the middle and never from the beginning because you just didn't catch movies from the beginning, and I was confused by it, and I was like, oh, it's anime, but Liam Neeson's in it, so that's interesting. But yeah, I never really gravitated towards anime. When I was in middle school, I wasn't asked about it. I'm like, ugh, anime's weird. But when I grew older, even then, when I was more tolerant of people who liked anime, I was still like, it's not my thing. And I will admit, I was the person who would sometimes go, oh, you like anime? And I would hate that I did that, because we'll say it backfired on me, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
But that would be more when we talk about our viewing experience. KirbyFan.
I was just gonna get the ball rolling and get to the film itself. Now,
Don't you want to talk about your experience with anime?
I mean, it's not as simple as you two. You two didn't get into it, and then you watched the movie. I've been into it. It's long. I think I went into it in one of the that we did. We're going with that name. If not, then I'm gonna really hate myself in the editing. But yeah. So silent voice. So let me start that over. The way that we're doing this is because I'm the one who's seen a lot of these movies, all of these movies. I have selected 7 films. I like to think that these are approachable. I didn't pick any really weird ones for you guys. But I picked 7 films that I think were good, or just great films in their own right, of course, but are also easily approachable, not for, the anime lunatic. Enjoyed it, or at least watched by anybody. We picked 7 films. We're going to keep those films secret until they come out, keep the suspense going. But unlike Pixar Spective, I'm the only one that has a personal history with these. So probably what we're going to do is that I'm going to go over my personal history, and then Wash and Random can have a little back and forth with kind of first impressions, maybe something that before they watched the movie, like going into it, what they were thinking, and then we'll get the ball rolling. So my personal history with the film, I actually saw this movie in theaters. It was out in Japan for a while, but I didn't watch it because I didn't really know what it was about, and because I didn't know what it was about, I wasn't interested in it. And then through the recommendation of a friend saying, you need to watch this, I looked into what it was about, and, my curiosity was piqued. I was very interested in it. And then I found out when the movie was coming to theaters, it was going to be dubbed, and the English dub had something very, very good about it, and how Shoko's actress, the deaf character of the movie, her actress in the English dub was deaf. They casted a deaf woman to play her, and at that point, I had to see the dub. At this point, the Japanese version's great. I have seen the Japanese version since. The Japanese version, fantastic. But I had to see the dub. So I saw the dub in the theater, and the movie broke me on multiple levels. Shoya's story, Shoko's story, a lot of the smaller stuff that happened around this movie, this story, it broke me. And then I got to see the movie again by myself. I went to my own house, my own room, and I still loved it. And then I just loved the movie. We'll get into why I loved it so much, and if I still love it after watching it again. But the movie's still fresh in my mind. So, without that out of the way, before we get started, if there's anything that Random or Wash would like to add prior to having seen the movie themselves, the floor is yours.
I'm gonna be completely honest. This is gonna be a running theme with this CinemaSan anime perspective. I went into this completely blind. I love going into new things completely blind. That's just something I enjoy doing. The only thing I knew was that I had to watch this film, and that it was most likely going to be a tearjerker, because I've seen my friends tweet about how much it made them cry. And I was like, okay, bring it on. I think it was Monday night. I just waited for my mom to finish watching Netflix, go to bed. I took the couch, watched Netflix, read the description, took a deep breath, and started the movie. And should I explain, in a few words, how I felt?
Yeah, if you want.
My heart! God, that broke the mic, but I don't even care. My fucking heart. Okay, hold up. I knew it was going to be a tearjerker, but there was and I cried a lot during Coco, a good 2 or 3 times, but there were times in this, there was double that, where I cried in this movie. I could name 4 times I was in tears, and one time specifically where I was ugly crying, sobbing, and we'll get to that. And oh my god, and then I just remember I was okay, after this movie I'm gonna just get some work done and take care of things. No, not only did I just not go to bed and just stayed up and just watched clips and studied the film and watched people's reactions to the film, but I was just so upset I couldn't sleep, and all at work I was just so distraught and just still thinking about it, and I'll end this off here with this story. I told KirbyFan this, but I didn't tell Wash this yet because I was just mentioning it. I was taking my dog out for a walk the night after I saw the movie, and I was just telling my mom I was crying my eyes out after watching the film, and she came in at one point, saw what I was watching, so she knew I was out watching anime, and she just goes, "You cried over anime?" And I just was both mad, but at the same time I'm I used to do the same thing to people like KirbyFan, because I didn't get it. And yes, I know. And then I was I got a little defensive. I'm you know what? You should give it a shot. I think it would be worth it. And I think she just thought she was going to be whatever. And I felt mad, but I also apologized, told KirbyFan what happened, and I apologized to them. Because now I knew how it felt. Mm-hmm. Yes. Wait, there's more. I go to work, I finish my shift, I cry some more about Silent Voice. Well, not cry, but feel more depressed about it. I come home, and I just see, I walk indoors, just normally say good afternoon or good evening, hope dinner went well, and I see Shoyo and, oh my god, what's his name? Nagatsuki on the screen, and my mom watching it. She's near the end, and I was legit shocked because my mom is in her late 50s, 60s, nowhere near the target demographic for anime. Nor did I think she would ever watch this. And I think she did it more to just make me happy to see if I liked it or not, but she also said she enjoyed the film, it kept her interest, Because she told me she would have turned it off if it didn't capture her interest. And she said she felt why it meant a lot, and she said she felt it captured the interest a lot. So that was nice. That was nice.
Aww.
I didn't expect that.
Aww.
Your turn, Wash.
Yeah, I wanted to save you for last.
I know. But the thing is, I was just kind of ruined that because you were thinking. It was making me think of like, it's only anime. How sad could it be?
Yeah. Well. And then
he points outside and the dump truck is a silent voice. I had no idea. What kind of weeb am I?
Oh god.
Okay, so, my experience. I knew nothing about this coming in. I remember a couple people bringing it up in message boards and places like that. I saw a silent voice, I love a silent voice. A silent voice should have been nominated for the Oscars, such and such. And I knew nothing about it, but here is it's not nearly as satisfying as the story as Random's, but before we like right when we were deciding on this, Kirby told me privately, listen, this film is going to be about a deaf girl, and I know that you're hearing impaired. Are you okay with that? And that piqued my interest.
I didn't know how else to put it. I was so anxious.
Because
I'll be honest,
I
I
didn't
was
know
worried too.
how... Sorry? Say that again.
I'll be honest, I was kind of nervous too. Like, because I don't think I... Did you mention it with me around?
Told me privately.
Even if you did,
No,
I exactly remembered.
I talked to them privately about it.
Okay, alright, but either way, but once I finished the film, I was like, oh, woo boy. I am so interested to see Wash's reaction. Cause...
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is that when Kirby said that, not only was I interested in the film, but now it was like, I'm going to critically analyze this film. Because it ties directly to several of my own experiences, with the exception of the sign language, but we can talk about that. And, B, it would be interesting to have this sort of discussion about representation in anime, in animation, in film, really, in the, especially, disabled representation. So, always in for a discussion about that. And, yeah. So, I will, once we, get a little more, into that, I suppose we can have that discussion. Just so long as it's not just me monologuing.
Oh no,
we all have a lot to say about it. So,
Yeah.
here we go, plot summary. Our main character in the story is Shoya. He begins the story as a popular kid in school, has friends, goofs around, plays video games, does all that good stuff. And then one day, a student transfers into the school called Shoko, and Shoko is a deaf girl. She carries around a notebook. People write in the notebook so that they can communicate with her. She can't really follow along in music class. People help with the note-taking and everything. And eventually, at one point, it's not specifically Shoya that picks on her. It is kind of a gradual build-up, you see. But Shoya starts to pick on her. Shoya starts teasing her about being deaf, makes fun of her, pretty much not good. And that goes for a while. Eventually he goes too far, gets ratted out, and all of his friends turn on him, and he goes from being the bully to the one being bullied, which pretty much lasts for... if I had to take a guess, I would just say it's between like a 3 to 5 year gap. that he just is bullied, doesn't make any friends, can't really talk to people, and everything in his life gets so bad, the burden that he has to carry, that he bullied the deaf girl and everyone bullying him, that he decides to kill himself. But before he can actually go through with it, he gets snapped back to reality, decides not to do it. But one of the last things that he wanted to do before killing himself was to bury any loose ends with Shoko, apologize for what he did for one reason or another, which we'll get into that. But since he hadn't killed himself, and he still has regrets about what had happened with Shoko, he tries to meet up with her, and the movie goes from there.
Yeah.
The movie definitely goes from there. So,
It definitely goes from there. I think we should stay straight off the bat that much like Pixar's perspective, this is going to be 100% spoilers.
Yes.
Yes.
And unlike
this is the point.
And unlike
this is the point of no return. We're gonna go right into all the dark stuff.
All the dark stuff.
Plenty of dark
all the
stuff.
spoilers.
So please, if you haven't already, and would like to follow along, I think I can speak for all of us. Watch A Silent Voice.
Watch it.
Watch it.
Holy shit.
Watch it.
Watch it.
The only thing before we get into the movie itself, because I really want to get into this, for those who watch Pixar perspective, you're probably used to us talking about kids' movies, which is fine. A Silent Voice is not a kids' movie.
No.
Just want to get that point across now. Most of these aren't really kids' films, but A Silent Voice especially, this is not a kids' movie.
Yes.
All right, where do you want to start?
I think like the fact that they peppered in like some swear words, it kind of prevents it from getting a children's audience, I assume.
Yeah,
I don't.
No,
yeah, it was definitely not targeting kids.
No way.
Yeah.
So where do we want to start?
I guess Shoya maybe.
Let's start with Shoya. Okay, Shoya. One of you two start with Shoya. One of you two start with Shoya. Did we like Shoya by the end?
By the end, yes, I'd say.
I think I always.
I mean, I always related to him, of course, but
yeah, that's the thing. I was.
He was an asshole when he was a kid, but
here's
at the
the thing.
same time, who wasn't an asshole when you were a kid?
Yeah.
That's what I keep thinking to myself.
You know what really gets me about Shoya as a kid, not as like the bad thing, but the good thing? There's two specific things. One, I kind of alluded to this in the plot description, but he did not bully Shoko right off the bat. He was just kind of an observer who, like, they didn't really communicate at all, but he saw that people that he got along with were really getting frustrated with the situation that they were in. And the only reason he started to pick on her was because his friends were getting frustrated about it. And then once everybody started supporting him picking on her, that's when he got farther and farther and really took it too far. When the principal comes in and says, 8 of her hearing aids have been missing, they're expensive, we think she's being bullied, if you're bullying her, speak up. He was gonna speak up. He was gonna admit to what he did until the asshole teacher said, Shoya, we know you did it, stand up. And then everybody turned against him. So, what he did was terrible. Well, I'm not defending the bullying of anybody, especially somebody who's deaf, but there's at least, he's not a monster. He's a kid.
Yeah. He's a kid who made some
thing
mistakes.
Yeah.
And he's a kid.
And I can definitely relate as both the bullied and the bully, because I have been in that spot where I would, especially because, when you're in middle school and people egg you on, you feel that power and you get abusive and it sucks. And I sucked so bad when I was in middle school. I got suspended so many times in middle school. I knew the detention area very well, by the end of middle school.
I never got detention to the point, but we're all just jerks in middle school because all our hormones are raging. We're all trying to be the best and most popular and just trying to fit in, and everyone's trying to bring each other down in order to fit in. And it's just a wreck of a time. Middle school was one of the worst parts of my life, to be honest with you.
It's part of the worst of everybody's, unless you're absolutely on the top of the popular totem pole.
And even then, you could easily just get kicked off like that. Cause
Like Shoya.
Even though it doesn't matter.
Shoya was on the top, and he got booted to the very bottom.
Yeah, even though it doesn't matter in the long run, it mattered then. And if there's one thing we know about Shoya, he paid for his price. He paid the price for his decision, not just like with socially, but mentally too. His social anxiety went through the fucking roof.
Yeah, and
that hit me hard personally.
Yeah, there's one. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. I'll redirect it back to Shoya. We'll get back to this point later. This is a film about many things, but universally about whether it's about Shoya, about Shoko, or any of the side characters. This is a film about body language.
Yes.
And one of the parts that always gets to me the most, because this is how I am. I still suffer really bad social anxiety. When they are on a train, Shoya is standing up, he's huddled in a corner, and he's grabbing his arm looking out of a window. And that shot, when I first saw that shot in the movie, I had to exit the theater. It hit me. And I'm not gonna lie, watching it, I've watched it 3 times since, and I can watch it, but it still hits me. I still have to like stop the movie and just take a deep breath and be like, wow, this movie's really good.
Like the shot of him like just grabbing onto the railing and just looking out the window, you said?
Yeah, that one. He's hugging his arm, he's huddled in a corner. That one.
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying this as a bad thing, I'm saying this as like, it's really good. It just, for me, is one of those things that's just like, oh yikes.
I can see there's some moments in this movie that broke me. Like there's a couple.
Oh, I cried throughout. My first time especially, I cried throughout.
I didn't cry throughout, but there were some moments that made me just there's some moments that made me just go no. Oh, thank God.
I cried a couple times. I cried a couple times. I don't think I had eyes. I don't think it didn't break me, but it gave me a lot to chew on.
Oh my God, yes. This is a film this is something that a lot of films don't do much. It's a story that makes you think about it long after it's over.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh my God, I was thinking about this so much. I literally passed out yesterday at 7:30 at night because I was just it was just an emotional weight, and I was like, I'm tired.
You see, and on that line of thought, and also kind of getting back to Shoya, what I really love about the film is that it gives you a lot to think about with Shoko, with her hearing impairment, how she deals with it, how she approaches other people about it, but equally, not more, not less, equally with Shoya.
Yes. You see a lot of shots of, like, people's shoes and feet in the bottom of the ground. And at first I was like, what is this weird shot? But then I realized he's looking down because he can't look at people in the eye because he's afraid to because of social anxiety.
Exactly.
Once that hit me, hit me hard. Oh my God.
Those X's.
Those X's.
Yeah.
I had to explain that to my mom because she was like, what are the X's about?
Yeah, I first saw that, it's like, what is that about? Is this a music video? What's going on? And then, especially once he meets, Tomo, or Nagatsuka, the shorter guy with the curly hair.
With the French fry cigarette.
Yes, with the French fry cigarette.
Perfect.
Once he met that and, like, the X peeled away, it was like, oh, this is, like all of those are like, barriers. It's like, like the sort of social barriers that he puts on himself. It's like, I can't approach you, I can't look at you, I don't
deserve to be around you.
I don't want to talk to you because I don't want you to hurt my feelings.
And I don't
and
deserve
I've met
to be
people
around
like
you.
that.
He doesn't feel he deserves it. And that hits me, like, I relate to that so much, especially when I was in middle school and high school, because I didn't think I was worth being around, and I didn't think I was, I thought why would people talk to me? I'm just nobody. So I'm just gonna do my own thing, leave them be, they don't matter. I'm not gonna even look at them. But that's him, like, magnified, or because my God, holy shit. Yeah, and just to see him like slowly break out of his shell throughout the movie, and go through moments of where he feels like he belongs, only to have it ripped back again, only to have it come back, and him slowly get back to where he actually feels comfortable with himself and feels like he can forget, not only look people in the eye, but also forgive himself for what he did. Because mostly, he doesn't believe he deserves to be happy and be with people because of what he did years ago. Right?
No, you're on the money. When
that's why
when the whole group is at the carnival and he's having a good time and all he could think to himself is
Is it okay? Am I allowed to have this much fun? This feels so familiar. It almost feels like we're all friends.
But like he's asking himself that question, but he's smiling, he's happy. That's all he could think about. And then it gets crushed.
Gets crushed by what's her fucking name?
Well, okay, in this
Are you talking about Naoka?
Naoka is who he's talking about. Yeah. But that was.
Oh, you're talking about the old friend.
Well, I mean, he used female pronouns, so I'm assuming he's talking about Naoka. But in this instance, it was actually Kazuki, the old friend that he had.
Kazuki triggered it, and Naoka did not help.
Yeah, she did not help. She made it worse.
Yeah, but we'll get to her.
Yeah, we'll get to her.
Is there anything else you want to say about Shoya?
Like, what isn't there to say about Shoya? He's such a good main character.
He's such a good main character.
Like, this is a redemption story, but unlike... I'm gonna make this comparison. It's a redemption story, but unlike a redemption story in a movie like Cars, you don't want to see the main character redeemed because that's the way the plot goes. It's like his redemption is like... you want to see him happy, but at the same time, you don't know if he's doing it for himself or not, so you don't know... like how you want to do it, and the movie does
it makes the movie a lot.
Yes, the movie does a really good job of answering the question, why does he want to befriend Shoko, but it doesn't like leave it blank for the entire movie and then just kind of throws it in at the end. Like gradually, every so often, like it's put in, and then finally at the end you get the answer to the question, why. And it's satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
It's super satisfying.
Super satisfying.
This also kind of extends into Shoko, but it's about both of them. You know what I really love about this film? Earlier on, there's some implications that there might be romantic interest between the two, but by the end of the film, the status between Shoko and Shoya is firmly in very close friend.
Yes.
Romance is mentioned in the film.
Well, there was that one moment.
Yeah,
there's a couple moments. To be honest, it's if anything, I think it's more left up to interpretation.
Yeah, what's gonna happen? But
yeah,
going through the movie myself, the only point where romance really even felt like it was mentioned between them was when Shoko tried to verbally tell Shoyo that she loved him, and he thought she was talking about the moon.
The moon.
The moon. Otherwise, there's no real moments of them being a couple. They're friends. They're very, very close friends. But that's it. And that takes me back to I think the last time we talked about this was Finding Nemo and Finding Dory.
I still think it's up to interpretation, but that's just because I don't know. The ship is there.
I heard you say that.
The ship is there, but I do like that it's up to the viewer. It's up to the viewer to interpret it, because even my mom was like, "Are they together? What's going on?"
Yeah. By the end, you're like, "Are they together?" And that's when it hits that it's like they never confirmed.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And yeah, exactly. That is the big thing, and I think that if there was the romantic element, then I feel like that might have softened the blow a little bit of the redemption, because it was more like that he just found her attractive.
Yeah.
And it's that's not that good of a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like and I was thinking about it because it's like the fact that Shoko is deaf kind of plays quite a lot into the redemption, because to sign takes a lot of studying, it takes a lot of work. and it's hard for me to think of a disability that's quite at the same level of that, of trying to communicate with somebody and like be on their level, but having to do the extra work. Because if it was like say Shoko was blind or something like that, then they can have a talk. They can like call each other or something like that. But the fact that the Shoko was deaf means that, I mean, she seemed to do like pretty well in like lip reading and they still have like the notepad and all, but the fact that he put in the effort to study signing and learning Japanese sign language and doing a pretty good job, apparently. I don't know nearly enough about American sign language, let alone Japanese sign language. But it's that sort of effort that kind of that was part of why I never got when you said like, did you still like him by the end? I never didn't like him.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Aside from like the bully, obviously like the bully stuff is horrible. But like once he grows up and once you see that like, oh, he's putting the work in, it's like, I know learning a new language is hard as hell.
And what's crazy about that is like his lack of self-confidence and his like self-hatred is so strong that when Shoko looks surprised that he learned sign language, he just goes, "Oh yeah, I learned it in a class." And anyways, like you just learned another language, dude.
That takes a lot. Holy shit! I wish I could learn another language.
Even if that was just a class, he studied hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, he put in the extra work on it, and I really appreciate that aspect. And I appreciate that it was a. I mean, obviously this is all an adaptation from the manga, but it was a very good choice of using that, and that becomes another sort of layer to the communication, which I really love.
All right.
Yes.
That and text messages and emails. Good lord, seeing all those text messages and emails. It was like, yep, that's what being deaf is all about. So, like in this modern age, like your hands are tired and you don't want to talk to people, so just text them. I hate getting phone calls. Just text me.
Yeah.
So I got, given everything, I've got enough of what I think about Shoya out. Anything you two have?
Yeah.
He's like you said, he's a great main character.
Yeah, and I think that like a big part of talking about Shoya would be talking about would be while we're talking about other characters and how, especially how they treat Shoya.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
for example, our next character.
Yeah, we can't. Gotta talk about Shoko. Let's talk about Shoko.
God, she's an innocent soul, and so much shit happens to her, and I hate that. But oh god, she tries to stay positive about it, and she says sorry even when she doesn't mean to, and all of that hit the feels.
What I really love is that both Shoka and Shoyo, these are Shoya, oh my god, Shoka and Shoya, these are two characters that they hate themselves, and the way the movie brings up a lot the question of Shoya. Why does Shoya want to be friends with Shoko? Is this to make him feel better, whatever? But the movie doesn't shy away from asking that about Shoko also. Like, when Shoya's bullying her and she just smiles and says, "Oh, it's fine, whatever," like, is she really understanding it? Is she really, like, dealing with the situation properly? Like, is everything Shoko is doing, is what she's doing right? And it's not as much is she wrong, but is she right?
Yeah, because we learn that it does get to her to a point. The bullying does get to her, because she does hate herself.
As much, sorry to interrupt, but as much as I do like Shoya, and I don't hate him for the bullying thing, one of the most satisfying parts of the movie is when they were kids, when
she fights back.
She fights back. She's cleaning his desk, he pushes her away, and she just fights back, tackles him to the ground, they're fighting. It's a really frantic, super well animated fight, and all she can do is shout, "I'm trying my best, I'm trying my best."
What are you even saying?
Oh my god.
And how are you saying it? Like, what are you saying? What are you saying?
Yeah, you can't understand her.
Yeah.
That.
Oh god, yeah.
That hit the feels, and I was just like, and I didn't have the subtitles on, so I had trouble understanding it at first, but then I was like, oh god.
My first, 3 times watching the movie, I was too busy, popping off, being like, yeah, hit him, to really listen to what she was saying.
Because honestly, yeah, we were sick of, he deserved getting, bit.
Finally, on my 4th time watching, I was like, alright, I'm not gonna freak out, I'm gonna listen to what she's saying. And then I heard her saying, "I'm trying my best," and it was just like, oh my god.
And then when you see her, grow up, I think the first time she encounters him, she runs from him, right?
Yep.
Or was that a dream?
No, it was real. First thing she did when she saw him, she looked really surprised. She didn't know what to do, and she ran.
Runs. And then he actually.
Yeah.
Something that I love about Shoko. Something that I really love about Shoko. I'm sorry if you.
Before that one.
Well, okay, you bring this up, and if it's not my point, fine. If you bring this up, bleh.
Okay, I was just gonna say, even before that run, good lord, the facial expression, it's all this mixture of emotion where she's trying to fake, hey, it's you! But, she just goes through so much, anger and fear and just, worry. She just doesn't know how to, but she's trying to still put on a face, and then it's it all collapsed, and she just bolts.
Good. That's not my point.
That was goddamn.
Yeah.
That was not the. I figured that was not the point you were gonna do, but goddamn, that's some good animation.
Very good animation.
Very good
And
animation.
very good, very good animation, use of facial expressions.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk about the animation, because oh boy. But the point that I was going to bring up that I loved, when she was running from him, and she kind of crouched down, because she didn't really know where to hide, she just kind of crouched down, hope he wouldn't see her. But what she specifically did was that she put her hand on the railing, so that if he were to touch the railing, or if anybody were to touch the railing, there was nobody around at the time, but if he were to touch the railing, she would know. She could feel the vibration on the railing when he touched it. And when he did, that was her signal that, oh god, he's here. Ah!
Yep.
But she didn't run away again.
Ooh.
So.
God.
And she learns to forgive him, especially at first, and then she learns that they slowly bond over time, and yeah, Shoko was probably one of my favorite characters in the thing. I agree, Shoya is a great main character, but just I don't know, Shoko's great.
Yeah. We'll get to my favorite character.
I know your favorite.
You know my favorite. Wash knows me well enough. They could probably guess my favorite character too. But we're talking about Shoko.
Naoka?
Yeah, we're talking about Shoko.
Problematic.
So Wash, what did you think of Shoko?
Right. So first off, I'm gonna say this. That scene in elementary school when they're grabbing her hearing aid and throwing it out the fucking window.
Oh my fucking god!
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the Japanese healthcare system is like. In the United States, a basic pair of hearing aids can cost well over $1,000. And that's if you're getting the basics.
Yeah.
Those, and having to get 8 pairs replaced is so, and like the scene, the shot of, the hearing aids in water, it was like, ah! Because I remember so many times when I would put my hearing aids in my pocket, and then my mom was doing the laundry, and she almost washes my hearing aids if she didn't catch the pockets. because it's just those stuff that are sensitive to sweat. Those are so sensitive. So seeing them in a pool, seeing them in the river. Now, here's where I can talk about what really interested me about this was Shoko is pure innocence and a very pure of heart. And it was around the midway point where I was starting to think, she doesn't have much agency, does she? It seemed more like things were happening around Shoko, like everybody else is just trying. It seems to focus more on what everybody else seems to feel about Shoko rather than how Shoko is addressing this. I was thinking that, and then the fireworks show happened, and I was like, oh, that, and then Shoya goes into a coma, and Shoko puts in the effort to unite everybody back together. It's like, oh, well, okay, that helped. I still feel like there, and part of this is because it is, the main character is Shoya, and that is his redemption, story, and it's his, view of the world. But it still kind of felt like it was more that things were happening around, Shoko. And I was just I guess I was wishing for something where it was just talking about her own sort of, I would like to see, I guess, a more complicated side to Shoko than pure innocence, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get you. I don't really want to call it a counterpoint, more of my perspective on it, but I'll let you finish first.
Yeah. I can definitely say that the self-hatred that hit me hard.
Yes. Holy shit.
The sort of paralyzing fear when, and this is something that really makes it special in terms of deaf representation, was that it demonstrates that fear of everybody is doing so much for me, and I just feel like a burden, and I'm just wasting everyone's time. I'm just stuck in the middle here, and that gets to her, and we see how much that gets to her, and it really that stuff I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed seeing that showing that darker side of the disability, because it is so easy, and there's been so many films and TV shows where they have a disabled character that is just gung-ho, have the grand spirit, and they won't let any hardship go through them, and it becomes like a feel good, for able-bodied people that is well, if she can go through her disability, what excuse do I have? And it's no, asshole, I am not something for you to fawn over. I'm a human being, and I have a disability.
Preach it.
Please just work with me on this.
Preach it.
Huh?
Preach it.
Please.
Yeah, we were shouting, preach it.
Thank you. Yes. I'm not your spirit animal here. I'm I have a disability. I have issues with the disability, but also I have hobbies, and I have things that I like to watch and things that I like to listen to. Like there's definitely a lot of aspects where my disability kind of butts heads with like my consumption. For example, anime, as I said earlier today. But it's not something that I'm going through. It's just a part of my fucking life. It just is. And there's nothing grand about how much I've been, how good I've been doing it. It doesn't have to be that way. It's just, let me live my life. You asshole. You hear that, Shoya? You hear that? I'm canceling you, motherfucker.
I'm canceling you. I heard what you said. I heard what you said when you were 12, and I'm canceling you for it.
Well, then this took a turn.
Okay, so yeah, that's my huge thing about Shoko.
Okay.
I believe Kirby, you had a rebuttal to this.
Like I said, it's not so much a rebuttal or a counterpoint. It's more so my perspective, and I agree to an extent with everything that you said. My thing is mostly with, I was kind of wishing for a character that had a little bit more of a dark side to them, like Shoya did, and this is kind of another thing that I like about the movie so much, how Shoya and Shoko just complement each other so well. They both hate themselves, and they both have problems with themselves that they can't really control. And the way that Shoya deals with it is by pushing everybody away and just being like this really shy, really uncomfortable recluse. And the way that Shoko tries to deal with it is she tries to act nice. That's just how she deals with it. She acts nice, and when people push her away, we see that she beats herself up over it, and then she gets up and she tries again. She doesn't give up. And I really like that about her. Yeah. I would agree with you if we never saw that dark side of her. This is just one of those things that, in my case, I just kind of feel like everything was explained, and it wasn't explained in like, all that glitters is not gold kind of way. It was actually like metaphors, and you kind of get to put the pieces together yourself.
Yeah.
I really like that. I like that she wasn't like Shoya, but instead of like crippling anxiety, she was deaf. She had her own problems. She had her own ways of dealing with them, because they're two very different people with two very different problems and two very different ways of dealing with those problems. So that's just my take on it. That's my take on it.
Yeah, when I was talking about that I saw a silent voice on another Discord, somebody said to me, because I mentioned that like I wish that Shoko had more agency, and somebody said to me, if you haven't read the manga, you've done yourself a disservice, because there were a lot of characters. Apparently, there were a lot of characters that don't get as much development in the film as they do in the manga, probably because it's a much longer form. And Shoko apparently is one example where you see more layers to Shoko. And okay, that sounds really interesting. I could definitely give that a shot, although I know how it's gonna end.
Yeah, you saw the film, so.
Well, to be honest, it's kind of like that with every book to movie transition. So manga to movie would probably be similar. Exactly. Some things have to get cut for time. But yeah, I heard that too. Especially more with the background characters, though, which we can get to. But
have you? You haven't talked about Shoko very much, have you?
I mean, I said I enjoyed her presence. I understand how you both feel about that. I don't know. The innocent, I like seeing the innocence, and yes, because I relate especially when someone knocks you down, you get back up and still be the nice person you are, because that's been my life for some time. It still is, honestly. I related to the feelings of hating myself, because I felt that a lot, especially in middle school, high school, hell, even college, I felt that way. And I just was like, if someone's not nice to me, I'm just going to apologize and I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep working on it. And just the amount of time she said she was sorry really hit me, because I still say sorry all the time. just because I feel like
Okay.
I'm not necessarily to the degree that you would with the disability, but I feel like a burden in different ways. If that makes sense. I didn't mean to offend you or anything. I'm sorry. See,
It's too.
I'm gonna say straight off the bat, just as a clarification, I'm not saying that Shoko is bad because she's innocent. I would not say that Shoko is bad because she's innocent. I meant that more of a because this film doesn't exist in a vacuum. That I just kind of wish I saw a bit more. That it would, the representation that I saw was very, very touching.
Yes.
Definitely, one of the examples that one person in the Discord mentioned was the mother, and that was an aspect I really wanted to see, like what the mother kind of goes through, with raising a deaf child. You don't really see much of the mother, what her, there's definitely something that's happened, but we don't see what's happened.
yeah, that's probably something that's more explained in the manga.
When Shoko's mother and Naoko got in the fight, every time I watch the movie, I jump and I go, "Yeah, punch that bitch!"
Oh yeah, yes, yes. Oh my god!
Okay,
if I wasn't
Can we just say it half? Even though that's probably not the point of the movie, fuck Naoka.
fuck Naoka, fuck her. Even my mom hated her.
Not the
my
point.
mom hated her
It's so
guts.
not the point.
My mom hated her
goddamn.
fucking guts. Because she even came to me and was like, yes, he bullied her, but the girl was much worse.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
At least, Shoya knew.
Naoka is the reason that oh god, what's her name? Sahara. Naoko was the reason that Sahara left the school.
Yeah.
Because the moment that Sahara tried to be nice to Shoko, Naoko just started talking shit about her and just made her feel awful.
And unlike,
I did like I like that little bit. It's barely noticed, but I do like that Shoya gets a message from Sahara of the two of them singing, Sahara and Shoko singing karaoke, and you can see that it's yeah, they're being friends, but also Sahara is being a little smug about this. She's just like, oh yeah, I befriended a deaf girl.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's
Sahara,
fine.
you're canceled too.
So don't worry. I hate Naoko too, but just something that I found interesting with her was that by the end of the film, she again, I guess this is up to interpretation also, but she's going through a little redemption arc of her own. She's legitimately trying to make up for what she did to Shoya. She's learning sign language so that she can properly communicate with Shoko. She gets it wrong, and Shoko calls her out on it, and it's great.
Oh
she
my god.
fixes her sign language for her.
That moment was the one that made me laugh so hard.
Okay, can we actually?
Can
we?
You can start with what you're saying.
So we're talking about how emotional this, and it's a very emotional movie, but it's very funny too. I laughed a lot.
Yes, there's so much fun. There's it's a little bit dark in the beginning, but in the middle, there's a lot of comedy and humor. Some stuff that actually,
especially from Nagatsuka.
Nagatsuka,
Yeah.
Like when Nagatsuka finds out that Yuzuru is the younger sister.
Yeah, I knew that the whole time.
He goes way in the next block and it's like, I knew that the whole time.
yes.
Let's talk about him. Nagatsuka, best girl, my favorite character by far. Oh my god. I love him.
He's
my favorite character.
I think I like Shoko a bit more, but yes. Nagasuka is
I think
is a gem of a human being. He's so loyal.
Wash,
he's so loyal.
Can I tell you something, Wash? When I saw this movie for the first time, I saw it with some friends, and we were talking about it, and we were talking about Nagatsuka. I was like, oh my god, I love him, I love him, I love him. And I saw it with two people, and both of them were like, I think I know part of the reason why you love him. Think about it. Steven. From Steven Universe.
That was the first thing I thought of. Yeah,
Steven.
I barely watched it, and it took me a while. And I was like, we were talking IRL, and Kirby fan just goes, Steven, and I'm like, what? Because I haven't watched Steven Universe yet. I only watched up to the episode Too Many Birthdays, and that's it. Nagasuka, from the very get-go, all Shoya had to do for Nagasuka was stop someone from stealing his bike, and Nagasuka became a lifelong friend.
Yeah, that's so touching. He found his bike for him. That's
yes,
so nice.
he did.
Aww.
A part of me got to the thought, okay, maybe he's going a bit overboard at points. Like, there was one point he got jealous of the other friend, and I was like...
Yeah, but he's so loyal. And his
He's
hair
so
is so
loyal.
poofy.
Yes, it's very poofy, but...
So,
And he's very much like a puppy.
we bought this point up before.
He's very much like a puppy in that, like, when somebody new entered the house, he's like, who is that? Who is that?
We bought this up
Yeah.
before, but quite frankly, we didn't bring enough attention to it. My biggest laugh of the movie, the French fry cigar.
The French fry cigar.
I've seen this movie 4 times now. Every time I have to stop. Well, the theater was one thing, but it kills me every time. It's actually like
so
watching a
good.
Western skit. It's so funny. And it's so,
so
charming,
funny.
and it has such an impactful message to it. And it's
That
with a
one-
French fry cigar that has ketchup on it.
That one shot of him just summarizes the character.
Yes.
Like, you just put a picture of him with that French fry cigar, and you'll know everything.
And I know this isn't the case in the Japanese version, but in the English, in the dub, when he's telling that story, he switches his accent to something like this while he's telling the story.
Now you and I is friends. It can be as simple as that, see? Friendship don't gotta do with no rules or qualifications, 'cause it's about something deeper. A bond, and you just can't break that. Capiche?
It's so great.
It's so perfect.
So
It's
great.
so perfect. He's so perfect. I love him.
He's one of my favorites. He's the comedic relief of the show that we needed. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Because it was heavy, and then all of a sudden we see him, and we don't really. We just see him like in the background because he's covered with an X, and then Shoya helps him, and he becomes a very important character. Heck, he's the one who helps him in the end, helps Shoya in the end in the bathroom.
Yeah, oh my god, they were in the bathroom, oh my god.
Yeah, and that was...
Oh, that's right. Oh, good
he
lord.
literally,
that
like,
scene.
cries his eyes out because we don't really see his reaction when he's in... We don't really know about what happens or how he reacted when he found out he was in a coma. So when he finds out he's okay, he just, like, bawls his eyes out for him.
Specifically, when Shoya opens the bathroom door, we can't see Nagatsuka's face because Shoya can't look at him, and he can't look at anybody in the eye right now. But it's once Nagatsuka, embraces him, hugs him, cries, and they talk, he can finally look somebody in the face, and he sees the little mini beard, the little mustache that he has, because he did a no shave challenge until Shoya got better. Why is he so perfect? Why is he so perfect?
No shave Shoya. It was so great. It was so great.
I love him so much. Okay, can we all agree he's best girl?
Loyal friend. We love.
We all needed Nagasuka in our lives.
This is our Nagasuka.
I think the reason
perspective here.
is
We love it.
this may be because why I was like, maybe he's going a bit overboard, is because I've noticed some tendencies in me that relate to Nagasuka.
I think all 3 of us.
Like,
because we're all kind of
I'm
clingy to
loyal.
an extent.
Oh my god. And I was like, oh no, cringe.
You know what? Like, I was feeling that at first, and then like especially like when Shoya just kind of like lets go of those sort of anxieties and just like has fun with it. It was like, oh well, then what the hell am I doing? Why don't I just get some French fries?
Yeah. Why don't I just see a movie? And I love how he's crying when they see the movie too.
Yes.
It's such a little detail, but it's like, oh wow, I do that. And then you just see Shoya just sip on his drink.
And you can see that it's like You can see that it was like when the friend circle gets bigger, you can see how he's become, without people really like talking about it as much, he's become a sort of glue of the group, to the point that when Shoya like breaks it apart, and then he starts hanging out with Shoko and Yuzuru by themselves. Like they're at the theater and he's like laughing really loudly because that's what Nagatsuka would do.
Yeah.
Aww.
It's like, aww.
What would you rather? We got to pick one. Would you rather? Because we got to cover the ending. Would you rather talk about the animation, the music, or the characters? Or we can like morph the animation and the animation and the music into one. Would you rather talk about that or the rest of the characters?
I mean, the only one I would say worth talking about is Yuzuru, who was just gave Shoya trouble in the beginning, but honestly just was loyal to Shoko, like Nagatsuka was loyal to Shoya.
I like Yuzuru just
and,
because it was another character for Shoya to communicate with on his own without Shoko being around. And unlike Nagatsuka, which Nagatsuka's perfect, but Yuzuru was nice because Yuzuru had direct contact with Shoko, you know?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And she was just a normal, like, little sister. She was also on Shoya's side the entire time. Like, there were moments they bonded, like that whole umbrella scene. That's
another scene where you can't see Yuzuru's face for the most part because Shoya can't look at her in the face because he just can't look at anyone in the face.
And then she like goes under the umbrella to look at him.
Yes.
And that's a nice shot, which leads to the animation is just
Let's talk about the animation. It's freaking beautiful.
It's freaking beautiful.
Oh god.
It's beautiful and I love it.
I was reading up on some reviews. I spotted one review from The Verge that said, and I quote, but I quote, "It didn't necessarily demand to be an animated feature." And the rest of that sentence then goes on to refute that. But to an extent, it is kind of correct that there's nothing here that really has to be animated. But the fact that it's animated, I feel it just kind of drives it all home even better. Because those tiny details of their body language and facial expression, the pause, the distance between characters, like all of that is just so gorgeously done.
I feel like that's why it had to be animated, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
And I honestly didn't notice the music too much, other than when it really gelled with the anime, honestly. And there's one point where there's of course talking about my generation, which was weird, but in a good way. But the instrumental tracks are great. There's one instrumental track that I remember the most, but it's only because I remember what happens in it. And of course, there's the ending song, which Netflix almost skipped for me.
Same.
But I was like, no, we are listening. I'm watching the credits. They fucking deserve it. And but yeah, the music was good. I think that's something I need to watch again to appreciate.
Yeah. I say I really love the music, but 4 times.
Yeah, so I was just more getting blown away by the story itself. I was like, where's this going? Where is this going? And is there anything else you want to say before we talk about the ending? Because there's a shit ton I want to say. Real
quick, one final note. I'll blow through the ending real quick and we'll talk. The first shot of the movie is Shoya, adult Shoya, high school Shoya, walking very uncomfortably, very stiff, kind of bent over. And then that transitions into Shoya walking as a kid. And when he's walking as a kid, he's got confidence. He takes big steps, big strides. And everything you need to know about this character, both as a child and as a high schooler, these 2 shots. That's it.
Yep.
It's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Okay, so, the ending. The fireworks, that happens. Shoko goes home.
Can we talk about the fireworks, though? Because that's part of the ending, kind of.
Well, yeah, the fireworks... what about the fireworks? They happen, and then...
They happen, but it's after the fireworks.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to talk about.
Okay. Okay,
The
fine,
fireworks happen. Shoko leaves to go home. Yuzuru forgets her camera, so she asks Shoko to go back. Shoko goes back. Shoya goes back, goes to grab the camera, sees Shoko about to jump off the balcony to kill herself. Shoya runs after her. He manages to grab her before she falls. He helps her back up, but in the process, he falls off and ends up in a coma. And at that point, Shoko... God, what doesn't happen? We see Shoya's mom, Shoko's mom, Yuzuru, Nagatsuka, Shoko, Naoka, how everyone's dealing with it. And it ultimately comes to the point of Shoko bringing everybody together herself. It's not everybody going to Shoya, it's everybody, Shoko going to everybody. Shoya recovers. Shoya recovers, and we get the explanation.
They have one of the most beautiful scenes.
We get Shoko's resolution. We get Shoya's resolution. Everybody meets back up. They reunite. They go to the school festival. They all make up, and then the final shot of the movie is Shoya surrounded by his friends. The X's fall off of The X's fall off of everyone's face.
Oh, God.
And he cries. He cries.
He's like,
and that's,
yeah, he cries.
And that's the ending. And that's the ending.
Yeah, that's the ending. It shows. Don't forget, it shows all the friends he's meeting along the way.
Yeah, like Nagatsuka.
And everyone over one, ending with Shoko. Oh fuck! Don't. Ah.
I love the ending,
especially when it's like when the tears just flow, and you can see how
this affects him.
How it's affecting him, and how much like he's trying so hard to wipe it all away, and it just keeps
coming out,
and it just never stops.
It never stops. Going back a bit, to the fireworks scene, back to when we see Shoko figure out when he slowly realizes what's happening. The music there, I notice, builds the fuck up.
God.
It starts out simple and cheery almost, but then as Shoya slowly realizes what's going on, it builds up speed and just gets really intense. And the animation gets really intense. You see a shot of her, and there's just one shot and then at one point, Shoya runs for it. He fucking trips. I'm like, no. Get up, get the fuck up right now. I was silently yelling because I didn't want to wake my parents, but at the same time I was like, no. And at one point you just see him get up and fucking run, and you see a shot of Shoko, the curtain goes in front of her, the curtain leaves, she's gone, there's suspense, we have a fucking heart attack. I'm like, no. You see her you see Shoya grabbing her, and I'm like, oh, thank fuck. And then, but I realize they might both fall. I'm like, oh shit. And then she gets up, oh good. And then he falls, I'm like, what the fuck, no! And I just, oh god. And then you don't even see the impact, you just see an egg, flop, and it just doesn't, there's a lot of symbolism in this film animation-wise, and that's one thing I adore about it. And, fuck. But that didn't hit me hard the most. That didn't make me cry the most. The point where I fucking lost it is when Shoko's mother, who we didn't really talk about that much, nor did we mention the scene her and Shoya had, the suicide confrontation scene, which went from normal to intense to hilarious in 1 second. But there's one point where Yuzuru and Shoko's mother just bow to his mother, apologizing and just crying in front of her.
Yep.
And
that got me too.
That fucking broke me. That was the one that broke me the most. I'm not sure why, but it did.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious why.
That's where I ugly cried.
Shoko's mother.
I know why.
She's Shoko's mother. She looks out for her daughter the most, and she's outwardly hated Shoya this whole time. And then finally, despite everything, he risked his life to save hers, and all she's done is hate him. So the only thing that she can do is apologize. That's all she can do.
It hurt. That hurt. And then right after that, it cuts to Shoko being beaten up by Naoko, and I wanted to fucking kill her because I was still
And then
crying.
Shoko's mom did.
I couldn't get... and Shoko's mom.
Shoko's mom is a freaking boss.
She is. She just will slap kids and beat the shit out of them, no questions asked. You fuck with my daughter, you fuck with me. And... and... Oh my god, I feel like I'm talking too much.
Was there any last second things you wanted to add, Wash?
Fuck Naoka. Fuck Naoka so hard. But also, you brushed over this like real quick, and we were talking about like comedy. My biggest laugh, Nagasuki, wonderful. My biggest laugh when Naoka signed moron. And everybody else was really tense, was what is her fucking deal? And the only thing Shoko thought was, she learned how to sign! And she helped her try to sign moron! And I laughed so hard because that is the most satisfying way to own her.
Yes.
It was so
Own
great.
her with kindness.
You apologizing? Well, guess that's all you know how to do. Moron.
Moron. Moron.
Just a
And-
moron.
It was so great. It was so
And she
great.
stomps off and it was like, okay, fine, you're uncancelled, Shoko.
Shoya's still canceled though.
Oh. Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyway,
Yes.
it was. I agree with you. The ending was beautiful. The scene between Shoya and Shoko was heartwarming and great. And
final thoughts time. I will start. If it wasn't obvious enough already, I love this movie. I loved it the first time I saw it, then the second, then the third, then the fourth. That much, you can just watch the podcast if you really want to know what I thought about it. But what I wanted to talk about today, I never thought I would be able to talk to you two about it, and it hurt, but now I am. I'm very happy. When I saw this movie for the first time, I was like, okay, I have to let it sink. I let it sink, and I was only liking it more and more. And I was thinking about it, and it's like, it's my favorite anime movie for sure. Like, I'm not going to spoil whether or not it still is. When I saw it for the first time, I was like, favorite anime movie, no doubt. But the more and more I let it sink, and then I saw it for the second time, I was like, is this better than The Incredibles? And I thought more and more about it, and eventually I came to the conclusion that I've seen The Incredibles a million times. I'm going to have to see Silent Voice at least 3 or 4 times before I come to that conclusion. And having seen it the 4th time, I can safely say, tragically no, Incredibles is still my favorite, but Silent Voice is a very close second. I love this movie. And there are things that I don't like about that scene at the bridge when Shoya just one by one was telling everybody to frick off. I thought that wasn't so good.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful movie, and I can't recommend it enough. Currently, I'm gonna have to rewatch obviously the rest of the movies on this list, but my number 2 favorite film, only beaten by The Incredibles. I adore it. And yeah, whoever wants to go next, take the mic.
I guess me.
Yeah,
I had
go
no
ahead,
idea
man.
what I had no idea what was going to happen when I watched this film. I wasn't even sure. I had a feeling I would like it, just something about it just told me I would, and it blew me the fuck away. It took back every negative thing I ever said about anime in a couple shots in.
I had no idea.
I fucking loved it. I loved it.
yeah.
And the story was great. It does have its problems, yes. I may be interested in reading the manga. I liked the story a lot. I liked the animation a lot. I liked how the characters go through arcs. both Shoya, mostly Shoya, but even Shoko too. I really, really, really enjoyed it. Comparing it to our favorite Pixar films, because right now I can safely say that this is my favorite anime movie I've ever seen. No. I'm sorry, Pokemon, the first movie in Pokemon 2000, you're nowhere fucking close. This is my favorite anime movie of all time. For now. I need to see the rest, but this wins. But when it comes to emotional things, do I think this is better? Would I think this is better than Up, or like something like Up or Coco? Which is very it's almost hard and even almost impossible to compare them because they're two totally different animals.
And also keep in mind, those movies you've seen multiple times. This one you've only seen, for better or for worse, you've only seen this movie once.
You've only seen it once, yes. And I don't think I can answer that question as of yet. I wanted to see it again, but I was just so tired yesterday. I was just so tired. But Coco was great and wonderful, but it didn't make me... I did enjoy it, but I'm not sure it made me think as much as it did, as this Silent Voice did. This one impacted me a couple days. This one still is impacting me. This one, I'm still thinking about it.
Yep.
So, I can't say if it's better yet, but I can say it did leave more of an impact on me. It made me cry harder than Coco. Very close. Very close, but that fucking bow scene killed me. And just the ending killed me. And, oh god, I need to watch it again. But if there's anything if there's anything to make me more accepting about anime, not just for me, but even for my mom, who just who has no interest in anime, and she was able to watch the whole thing. If there's anything that you want to anime is not just for kids, it's not just comedy, and it can be a true art form, show them this fucking movie. 'Cause you're going to... It's so good. And
I definitely recommend Random you do a marathon of Coco followed by Shoko.
I'm out. I'm done.
Un Shoko Loco. Watch all of your favorites. Watch Up, then Coco, then Silent Voice, then Good Dinosaur. Pixar perspective never dies.
A silent dinosaur. Never dies. Okay.
Well, now, I quite enjoyed. I quite enjoyed A Bug's Voice. I mean,
I mean a good voice. I mean a silent dinosaur.
Good voice.
A good voice. It is a good voice.
It is a good voice.
I enjoyed this movie thoroughly, and I think a film like this was very helpful because putting this into perspective, we had spent an entire year analyzing Pixar films, which is a section of Western animated films. And going across the world, the other side of the planet, to Eastern animated films, and you see a different philosophy. You see a different perspective. You see a different structure. I was very fascinated with the story structure of this because it wasn't really as much of a driving force as you would have in your average Pixar film, where it's like here's your character, they have a goal, they try to make that goal, they have like the basic 3-act structure. This one is quite different from that. There's quite a lot where there's not much talking, and there's quite a lot where they story isn't per se moving forward. You're just going more for the characters and going more for the environment. And it's just like taking its pace along, and it's a really good cleanser after a year of Pixar films. That you just go for completely new a new perspective on telling stories, and it's fantastic as a cleanser. Considering that like this almost wasn't going to be this almost wasn't going to be the first anime film that we were going to watch for this. But the fact that it happened, I am very happy that we got to see this. I was, despite my complaints and my rage against the machine, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. I was really impressed with the deaf representation, the hard of hearing representation. Yeah. So this, anyway, wonderful deaf representation. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Shoya is a fantastic protagonist. I was very impressed with how they handled that sort of, because the whole film is about guilt and forgiveness. And it's not just like receiving forgiveness from others, but also forgiving yourself, which he doesn't do until the very end of the film.
And that's the closing note of the film too. Like everything comes together at the tail end.
It does.
Woof! Woof!
Oh god.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
What a hell of a way to start this, huh?
Also, there was that one moment where they're at the Ferris wheel and Naoko talks shit and she says, "I'll talk slow so you can understand," and then she talks the exact same speed. I've seen that so many fucking times. Yep. Fuck you. Mm-hmm. Fuck you.
Fuck Nicole.
Fuck you.
Fuck her. Fuck her. Worst girl.
Yeah. Yeah,
Fuck
Naoko worst girl,
Fuck her.
Nagatsuka best girl.
Of course.
Oh. Nagatsuka is best puppy.
Yes. Best puppy. Best puppy. Fuck.
Best girl.
All
So,
right. So yes, that's
it.
That's it.
We
did it.
We did.
about it.
I'm very glad with how that turned out. We did a very good job. So unlike the Pixar perspective, where we would rank these movies at the end, unfortunately, you two have only seen the movie once. You can't. I might indulge myself. I mean, this is easy. Silent Voice is my favorite because we haven't seen anything else.
Yeah, I can say Silent Voice is my favorite of all movies we've watched so far.
So to fill in the gap.
I'll have to think about that one for next episode.
So to fill in the gap that is normally taken up by the rankings, which is really unfortunate because the rankings were always the best part. The idea is that I'm going to come up with a little discussion piece about the film coming into the podcast, and we're just going to take a little time, not a lot, only like 5 minutes maybe, if even, just to kind of see what some people think about the film and kind of respond to that, and then end the episode off. So for Silent Voice, what I want to bring up, because this is a big one, how other people who are hearing impaired view this movie. There are, generally speaking.
Oh, I didn't get to see like what the response had been from other hearing impaired people.
So generally speaking, there are two ways that the hearing impaired see this movie. I mean, obviously, like I said, generalizing. Yeah. The first, beautiful representation. Hits close to home on all fronts. Way to go. The second one is Shoko is over idealized. She's innocent. She's pure. She's cute. She's always had like all that stuff, and that's just not how people who are hearing impaired are. They're not these pretty cute girls that exist. That look at them, they're cute. And they're two very different points of view. So what I would like to discuss is, I mean, obviously we know which one we lean towards. We all lean towards beautiful representation. But kind of thinking about it from the perspective of somebody who sees it as, the hearing impaired aren't just these cute girls.
And we're not. Or at least I'm not. Not yet.
But kind of on that train of thought, like what do we think about it, not only in general for media, but also applying the silent voice.
Okay. Well, I already said my piece,
Yeah.
so you should go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're not talking as people that are hearing impaired, but I agree with Wash. I think it's beautiful representation. I feel the opposite of, deaf people aren't just cute girls because, I mean, yeah, she's cute, but, there's more to her than that. And I vividly remember saying during this podcast that if that's all she was, if we didn't see that dark side of her, I wouldn't have been this okay with it. I would not have liked it as much. But we did see it. We did get to see it. She's not over-idealized. She's real.
Yeah.
Or as real as an animated character can get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. We do see both sides of her coin. We see what's behind her mask, because the cuteness, and that is her, but she also puts on a brave face whenever she gets bullied, and she just says sorry, and she just gets right back up again, and and then but yes, we do see her dark side. We do see the faults in her. She's not perfect. She's not a perfect cute character who is deaf. So she's a person. And I agree with both of you that she is, at least from my perspective, a good representation. And yeah, I guess she is cute, and yes, not all deaf people are cute anime girls. And not all hearing impaired people are cute, but I'm losing my
what
train
I
of
really
thought,
like
but
about
basically-
Shoko, her being nice and her being hearing impaired, they're separate.
Yes. She's
Yeah,
still
I can definitely see that.
yes,
I can definitely
she's
see
still
that.
herself. Even if she wasn't, she'd still be Shoko.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's just her. And granted,
Yeah, I think I can see that.
granted
Yeah.
she hides
Yeah.
behind that a little bit whenever things get uncomfortable, but that's a character of hers. That's how she deals with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think a good point towards Shoko is the moment where she professes her love to Shoya, but it doesn't work, and that's sort of punching yourself in the head that she does, and that sort of stuff where it's okay, there is more to Shoko. I really appreciated that where she's her like you said, her own she's very she doesn't want to go too much into the uncomfortable place. So the moment she stepped and it didn't work, she shut down. and that stuff is really great. I really enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, absolutely.
it's a good film. It's
Right,
a
very good.
film.
I'm glad we all liked it. Think I did a good job picking this film.
Oh yes,
Of course. Holy
Good,
shit.
good.
I feel like there's still a lot that we haven't discussed as much. For example, there's there's a couple other friends in the circle that we like, Kawaii and I believe the Masiba, the redhead.
Yeah. Who, honestly, the film doesn't really discuss them much either, but that's... yeah.
Masiba, at one point, Shoya literally during that bad moment on the bridge when Shoya's breaking the circle apart, Shoya calls Masiba an outsider, and honestly, I was like, yeah, that ain't wrong. He's just there.
He's just there. But I
Yeah.
feel like it's more explained in the manga. Or at least he gets a shine,
I would assume
imagine so.
Well, you're gonna have to get to that when you get to that.
Yep.
In our manga spective podcast.
Manga-spective.
Manga perspective.
Manga-spective.
Are we allowed to ask what we're doing next?
Yeah, sure. The episode coming up next, I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
join
that
us-
would be a good idea for those of you who are listening along.
Yes,
you can,
faithful viewers.
When we
Because we're not
yeah.
we're doing a whole bunch of different directors, apparently.
Yes, specifically what we are doing. I picked one film, not my. I didn't necessarily pick like, you know, all my favorites. Obviously, that's not the way to do it. Gotta do more than just the ones that I really like. We have picked one film from every director. This film was directed by Naoko Yamada. Some other work she has done includes Liz and the Bluebird and the Tomoko Market movie, both very good movies. Liz and the Bluebird we almost watched, but then I remembered.
We almost did.
But then I remembered that we were doing silent voice, and this was more important. But next time, as far as the director himself and everything, we'll get into that in the next episode. But next time we are going to be watching a movie called Wolf Children. That's sure to excite a lot of people because a lot of people really enjoy this movie. So look forward to that.
Okay.
I have no idea what it is, but I look forward to it.
I guess we can talk about that because I know like a surface amount of it, but
I know
when we get to that.
I know literally nothing. I know literally nothing. All right. So I'm Random Bystander here.
I'm the Wash.
And I'm talking about my generation.
Talking about my generation. All right. My heart.
Yeah. I feel you.
A silent who.
Nagatsuka, best girl.